It's time for the KickAround, the Ticket's weekly show all about soccer. 2 hours of HSOs on the clubs, leagues, and tournaments of the world's game. It doesn't matter if you're new to the sport, don't worry. This is the Ticket. We're just kicking it around. Now, here's two guys who still have their moms drive them to practice. Andy Swift and Peter Welpton.
Comes Harry Wilson's corner. It breaks in the back post and they've got their equaliser. Rodrigo Muniz saves it at the death for Fulham. Joy for Marco Silva, joy for Fulham. Crushing for Brighton with just seconds remaining. Rodrigo Muniz, who's been in the headlines this week. Well, he's in them for the right reasons here. Brighton won, Fulham won.
That's for you, Eddie. Hi to hope P1s, and welcome to the KickAround Saturdays 2 to 4 here on Sports Radio 96.7 and 1310 The Ticket, where you, the good P1, sits around and talks soccer and all that implies. Don't forget, you can find us on our website, thekickaround.com. Hello, it's me, Peter. And to my left, but to your lovely right, as you stare with great anticipation into your broadcast or streaming device, it is the world's most interesting man, Andy Swift.
Peter, you're a different person when EPL season starts.
What does that mean?
You're just a completely different person.
I love the Premier League.
You get in a better mood, but you're more demanding. You're like more strict, yet you're happy.
I'm about the business, man. We owe the P1s quality broadcasting, Andy.
You are just a different person, man. Like the good days of summer are behind us.
I spent all week thinking about this radio show, preparing and getting ready to go.
And now we enter.
And here we are.
Now we enter your favorite time of the year.
Yes.
Which is 10 months long, by the way, your favorite time of the year.
You watch a sport that has 175,000 games a season.
162 plus playoffs, thank you.
And they're all 4.5 hours long.
Compressed into 6 months.
That makes it worse.
And they're not 4.5 hours long, good sir.
Hey, real quick, I just wanted to say I'm glad that we got to play the Fulham winner today, but my intention was to play the Sunderland opening goal against West Ham. But the audio, the crowd at the stadium light was so loud that you can't hear the really good goal call by the commentator.
You know what goal was what goal overshadowed that first goal?
No, which one?
Their second goal. They went even more nuts.
And it was such a great scene at the Stadium of Light today. And I just tweeted this out shortly ago. This entire day, this morning with them, with the beautiful tifo that they showed off. Did you see that, by the way?
I did.
Slaying the Dragon.
Yeah.
And them beating West Ham today handily 3-0 in their marked return to the Premier League. The only thing I can think of is that great moment of that really sad old elderly man sitting in the seats at the stadium light, slumped over, looking so despondent when they got relegated from the Premier League so many years ago. And I just wonder, is there any chance he's still alive and survived all this time to see what a day like today was like?
Why don't you write an email to Sunderland?
I should write a sternly
suggest. No, not sternly.
Letter.
A concerned letter.
A concerned letter to Sunderland and ask them if Mr. Sadman lived all this time.
Yeah.
Well, we will get back into the Premier League with our favorite Norwegian, Lars Sivertsen, live, who I think is actually in Norway right now. Now, I will forewarn everybody, Lars is playing hurt. He has.
Did he trip again?
He has he didn't blow up the other ankle.
Okay.
He's got a cold or a flu. He's got a throat thing going on. So he's a little
too much jet setting, I think, is what's happening, man.
He's just traveling too much. So we'll get into the Premier League. We will do World Cup nerd today. Andy, we shall mix it with headline-y kind of news.
Okay.
With the U.S. men's national team.
USMNT related.
That's right.
Okay.
How did I title it? I titled it World Cup Nerd Chapter Starting from a Bad Place.
Bring it.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Bring it.
And we'll also do America's favorite soccer segment known as the Dribble. But first, let's do the most important of all the soccer segments. All right. The craziest thing that has happened this week, and I don't know how I feel about this. It's probably not a good idea, But the La Liga officials have cleared the way to allow Barcelona and Villarreal to play an official La Liga match in the United States, in Miami, in December.
Not official yet. It's cleared one hurdle.
Well, officially meaning the league itself says we're good with it.
Yes.
So that was the first hurdle.
Pending discussions with all the clubs now.
Well, do the clubs have to do they have to get approval from the clubs?
No, but the clubs can show great consternation, and then the Liga changes
like
their
Real
mind.
Madrid already has.
Yeah. What I've heard, through contacts and Scuttlebug.
Oh, here we go.
Is that all the clubs are riled up about it except the two clubs that are going to play the match. And then the fans. The fans. I was just reading the same website you were reading. The fans are really upset, too.
Well, of course they are.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. When the NFL started playing official NFL league games overseas, did NFL fans bitch about that?
The first game was Arizona, and because we looked it up just before the show. We're not that smart.
Don't give that away.
No, come on. We're transparent.
Pretend
here.
like you
we are
actually know
transparent. It was Arizona and 49ers, 12 years ago, something like that. Right? Yeah. Arizona wasn't drawing at home.
No.
And so,
But I still think Arizona fans would be mad that they lost a home game.
Yeah, but maybe money talks.
Because isn't that what essentially Villarreal or any La Liga fans upset about, is they don't get to enjoy
and
a
there's
home
a
game?
Competitive disadvantage, right? Also.
Sure. Real Madrid's already complaining that Barcelona gets an advantage of not having to travel to Villarreal to play their game.
They're essentially playing on neutral ground.
I don't know. So the reality is this still has to get cleared by UEFA, by FIFA, and then it has to come all the way over here to little good old USA and get cleared by CONCACAF, the U.S. Soccer Federation, and MLS.
MLS too, I think, right? I mean, I heard that everybody basically has to approve.
Remember, there was a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Because they originally wanted to bring over a game of several years ago, and Relevant Sports, I think it's called, filed that giant lawsuit against the Federation, and it ultimately ended up getting settled because the U.S. Soccer Federation said, no, you can't bring a competitive league game across borders.
I'm using AI, and it's saying only the USSF, so apparently not MLS.
All right.
But UEFA and FIFA also.
So anyway, that's a big deal. Now, tied to that, because Barcelona clearly is trying to make as much money as possible, is they were able, shocker, to get Marcus Rashford registered in time for their season opener, which I think is almost over at this point. Earlier today, it started at 12 against Mallorca. So they got Rashford registered and a goalkeeper registered, because up until literally hours before the game, Barcelona only had one goalkeeper registered on the team.
That would be a problem.
And so they got this done by transferring the remaining 50% of the rights to a player that left their club 3 years ago. Because I guess they had drugged that out over a period of time, and so they escalated that, and they also amortized payments on Koundé's new contract over more years, so that they could it would cost them less money, and that's how they got Marcus on the books.
A lot of tired head.
Did Marcus play today? Did he end up playing today?
I'm looking, and he came on as a sub. They're up 2-0 in the 85th.
All right.
By the way, the goalkeeper they signed started. They needed a third goalkeeper because their primary goalkeeper obviously is injured. Remember, that's why they had all this issue.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So
proceed with the show.
Moving on, we will talk about the big Liverpool-Bournemouth game here in the next segment. But I'm going
for
to
two segments. You told me two segments of that game.
We're gonna. Well, I'm going to confront you first about Liverpool racist fans.
Oh, okay. See, this is how you are.
So police
spoil the party.
Police have arrested a Liverpool fan.
Hey, did you know we had a great celebration for Diego Jota? No
47 years old, said something racist to Semenya early in the game, and the game stopped, and nobody could figure out why the game had gotten stopped. I thought maybe there was some sort of health issue in the stands. They pause games, but no, it turns out that a man in a wheelchair said something offensive to Semenya.
He was down field level. I guess that's where they
on the side. Yes.
Yeah, they put a lot of the wheelchair spectators, and he just did you see video?
I've never seen the video.
Yeah, they showed a close up, grainy because they had to really zoom in.
Please tell me he didn't do the
so
monkey
he
thing.
wheelchaired himself towards the. He moved himself towards the
sideboard.
Yeah, the sideboard, the end line board, right? Or was it on the side? I don't remember. And just started yelling at him when he came to get the ball, the player, and just went off. You couldn't hear what he said.
So does the wheelchair give him a force field of any sort?
No, Peter.
Probably made it easy to apprehend and identify him.
Not give him.
So he's been arrested and charged with saying naughty things to Semenya. So there you go. I'm sorry that Liverpool fans, Andy, like you, have to treat your visiting team that way. That's sad. That really takes the shine off a big 4-2 win yesterday. We'll talk.
You promised 2 segments of 4-2 win, so I'm looking forward to that.
The scenes man, what a fun game that was, and what emotions during that game.
Oh, don't now pretend.
Chelsea has announced that they're going to give away an equal portion of the almost $16 million they made winning the World Championship in the Club World Cup to the family of Diogo Jota and Andre Silva, his brother.
Yeah, a player shares whatever. No?
$500,000 is what it's worth.
Yeah, that's very nice.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, because he had no ties to that team. So
very, very
kudos,
sweet.
Chelsea. I may root for you a game or 2 this year then.
Over in England, because of some of this drama that's been happening with clubs like Sheffield Wednesday and Morecambe, which are...
What happened to Sheffield on Wednesday?
Not on Wednesday, the club Sheffield. Okay. Really? Andy doing... No, I'm stopping for a second because Andy's doing bits.
Let's just go on.
I
have to get through 10 months somehow.
I love Andy doing soccer bits.
I have to get through 10 months.
The KickAround P1 wants to just marinate in this for a few minutes.
No, you
got a whole set?
You do.
You got any more soccer bits?
P1 doesn't care. Move on.
You remember they had talked about doing a football regulator, a government-based overlord of the sport in the country of England, and that was supposed to have happened by now. It hasn't, but now, because of some of this stuff that's happened, not to Sheffield on Wednesday, but the club Sheffield Wednesday and Morecambe, where it's all ownership stuff, and it's really sad. Those clubs are in terrible situations.
Yeah, Sheffield's very close, though, to getting the boot, right?
I think they finally I think they got some sort of agreement in place with the Punjab Warrior Group from India that was going to buy them.
Okay.
I think I've got that story straight. Anyway, now they want to fast track the regulator back in place by November. And that person will be able to strip a club owner of their rights if they are not operating the club according to whatever standards.
So this new operator has till November to show that they know what they're doing?
No, I think they're going to get that settled much faster. The regulator would be in place by November so that person can move forward setting the standards straight.
I guess my question is, once the season starts and they start playing, then you can't do anything until the end of the year, right? End of the season. You're not going to then have them close shop in the middle of the season, are you?
If they don't get that stuff straight, they may.
Okay.
They very well may. And then let's see. Oh, we are going to talk about Christian Pulisic's new episode of his show and the backlash that occurred after that. We'll do that as part of World Cup Nerd. And Howard Webb, who's the chief of all Premier League referees, has said that IFAB, which is the international group that makes all the decisions on the laws of the game, are now considering changes to VAR's scope, meaning expanding it, which would include yellow cards, corner kicks, and other things that technology give them access to seeing.
Because right now they only oversee 3 things, right?
Red cards, misidentified players, and fouls in the box.
Right.
Yeah. Essentially.
Plus the offside thing with.
I think that's a smart idea because one of the weird loopholes that drives me nuts is the ball that doesn't go out for a corner kick, but that is given as a corner kick and then turns into a goal. That seems very obvious that VAR should be able to go.
Just quickly say, corner.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And they are testing. We talked about it last week. They are testing the camera, the referee head cam. It's part of their earpiece. They look like a Star Wars character.
Okay.
And so some of the games this weekend, I bet the Arsenal-Man U game is one of them.
Oh.
They have to wear the special earpiece that has the camera built into
Referee said A-okay with this? They're good?
I guess,
Okay.
yes. So we'll get that view that we got through the Women's Euros and the Club World Cup. Maybe we'll get some Premier League line of sight action going on.
Do you get excited when there's an article with Howard Webb content?
Visibly excited.
Yeah, quotes.
I love Howard
You're
Webb.
a ref nerd.
I am a ref.
Yeah.
Are you a nerd about anything?
World Cup.
Oh, right.
That we have a segment called World Cup Nerd.
Right. That's named it after you. I forgot. All right. That does it for headlines. We are going to dive into the opening weekend of the Premier League, and joining us will be the great Lars Sivertsen. That happens next here on the KickAround. The world's newest national team played in and scored their very first goal in the history of their organization. We'll talk about that before the end of the show today. But first, welcome back to the KickAround. Andy's here. I'm here. And you know who else is here? Your favorite football journalist from Norway. It is Lars Sivertsen. Howdy, Lars.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
You sound fine.
Lars!
Well, let's give it time. My 15 minute slot on UK radio this morning was intriguing.
Yep. You have some hot tea next to you?
Hot lemon
nearby?
tea, hot lemon water.
I've got a pile of lozenges ready to go.
Okay.
What do you have, the COVID?
No, I don't think so. No,
No, he's got too much travel and jet
Yeah.
setting, having funness.
Golf
It did
and
come
women.
immediately after. It did come after a particularly grueling travel day. So I do reckon Andy might be right about that one. Yep.
How many rounds of golf have you played since you landed in Norway?
I've played once, which was yesterday when I was feeling a little bit better, and then I played 18 holes in the rain, and that was not the move.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's what it
It's a little bit self-inflicted, this one.
Well, Lars, thanks for joining us. I hope Andy isn't as excited about the new Premier League season as I am. Are you excited?
I'm enjoying it. I mean, it helps that we had an absolute blockbuster first game of the season on a Friday night, Liverpool-Bournemouth.
That I agree
much
with.
Fun.
Yes.
That was a tremendous game of football. Then today, of course, Aston Villa, Newcastle.
Then I went right back to
yes.
wondering why I'm going to follow this for 10 months. I kid, of course. I kid. No.
We talk about expected goals a lot. I mean, if there was a way to quantify the expected fun,
No.
the XF was very high. It was very high last night. It was very low earlier.
I
today.
love that. We
Absolutely terrible.
Man, can we borrow that and use it every once in a while?
Expected fun. Yeah, we should.
Whatever you want, sir.
Okay.
All right, well, let's start with the first game of the season, Liverpool and Bournemouth, which was tremendous fun and had massive emotions surrounding it. I thought the stuff that the Jota tribute that happened before the game, I thought the stuff that happened at the 20th minute, all the goal celebrations, and the sweet moment with Salah standing in front of the cop, clapping the cop while they sang the new song, and him crying. That was top-notch stuff, Lars.
It was, and it was. I mean, it's a cliche, but those evening games at Anfield, it's a cliche for a reason. I mean, the atmosphere when it gets going there is quite unique in world football, and it was a very, very powerful occasion.
All right, Andy, you are the official Liverpool fan
Of the
station,
show?
Of the show, yes.
Yeah, not the station.
So what
We
is?
got plenty of.
That's true. Yeah, there's way too many
Yeah.
of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what are your reactions to Liverpool 4, Bournemouth 2?
Good fun. It was fun. It's easier to head into the opening match of a new season when you're the defending champion. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just
Right.
There's a tad less pressure. You feel like, oh, we can do whatever this season. It's going to be okay because we won last year. That lasts about 30 minutes, and then it's like you're into it. But I thought it was a good game. Bournemouth is a good team. I don't know, Lars, I'm sure we'll talk about this, but they've made some changes in the back, so it might take them a little bit to come around, but they showed they're a good team. And so it made for a great game.
All right, Lars. So a lot of people trying to figure out a way to pick Liverpool's seasons apart and not pick them to be the eventual winners was like, well, a slot's got a lot of new parts to kind of figure out what to do with. Dude, they looked really good yesterday.
Well, they looked kind of like what we've talked about going into the season, which is their ceiling is super high. Like, when this team plays well, it can blow pretty much anyone away. Like, they've got so many good attacking players there now. Wirtz, it will take him some time to be on the same frequency as everyone else around him, but his quality is very obvious. Salah is still going strong. Ekitike has really hit the ground running there. He looks the part already.
So good.
Yeah, you got two absolutely flying attacking fullbacks there. Like, when you've got this team in full flow running at you, it's a scary thing. And I do think they will blow some teams away this season. But I did also think you saw in this game one of the reasons why I am a little apprehensive about tipping them for the title, because they're not great at defending. Like, this is quite an unbalanced team, I would argue. And you've got two super attacking fullbacks. You've got two essentially attacking midfielders playing in the midfield with McAllister and Szoboszlai. You're kind of leaving the two center halves to do everything on their own.
And I would say there's a little bit of lack of depth in the back, too, because they're one major injury away from really having problems.
Frimpong is up injured now. That Slot announced, and Connor Bradley behind him is also injured. Right. So they're already a little light at right back.
They were playing
Gomez. Gomez came in.
Came in, but they started playing the holding mid from
Endo.
Thank you. Brain fart. Yep. Endo at right back for a bit. That was a disaster.
Well,
and this is why I'm wondering. Sorry to jump in, but I completely understand why you would want to buy Alexander Isak if you can. But surely, when you see just the extent to which Hugo Ekitike looks the part up front, do you not think maybe instead of spending like £150 million on another striker, maybe get a slightly cheaper squad option forward type of guy and invest some money in a utility guy defensively?
100%.
You've got a bit of coverage depth issue, yeah.
But
100%.
But didn't they do that by getting the Parma Italian defender?
The center back, right?
I forgot his name.
Yeah, he is a small child, though. I feel like that's a future
He's 6'4", Lars. He's not a small child.
No, he's young.
So he's a large child. Fine, he's a large child.
He's a child. That's Lars's point. He's a child still.
Maybe he's a star in the making, Lars. There's plenty of teenagers doing well in the top flight.
It's true. No, listen. I don't want to talk down this Liverpool because I think this team is going to win at least one, maybe several games, like 6-7-0, that sort of scoreline. Because again, that attack is so scary, and we haven't even really seen it get going yet. But I also think there are vulnerabilities, like teams that will get at them. Like, they're not going to walk the league. They will drop points here and there. I'm completely convinced of it.
We haven't even talked about Federico Chiesa yet either.
All right.
Now we're talking.
Was there anybody more surprised Chiesa scored that goal than Chiesa himself? The look on his face was great.
Yeah, and it was one of those things when he came on, and you go, huh. He's still a thing, Federico Chiesa, old Freddie Church is still hanging around, and got a goal. He looked completely baffled. Yeah, it was a good finish.
It was a good goal. Yeah.
Hey, I also want to just real quick and say I think the Cherries are going to be just fine. There are a lot of really good qualities about that team, and when Liverpool gave them the opportunity, they took advantage of it. And by the way, I'm just shocked that nobody picked up Semenya. Another team didn't buy him, because that goal that he scored on the run of play and that counterattack was really, really nice. And I just think Bournemouth is going to be a real problem for a lot of teams this year.
Yeah, no, I would echo that and say they've done well to keep hold of their manager over the summer.
All right, well, let's move on to the opposite scale of fun, which was this morning's Newcastle-Aston Villa game. Oh, my gosh. I just want to throw this question out real quick. Aston Villa now has thrown out two super flat performances in back-to-back games. The last game of the season at Old Trafford that they needed to win to stay in Champions League, and the opening game of the season. We're on season 4 of Unai Emery, and we know that Unai Emery can start to wear on players' nerves at some point. Is this any indication that's because that's what happened at Arsenal? That's what's happened with Lars will tell you this story.
But Arsenal was much more quickly, though, right?
It was. So Unai Emery has done really well at places like Sevilla, places like Valencia, did not do as well at Arsenal and at PSG. And typically it's thought to be because his methods are very meticulous. And for lack of a more artful phrase, he's a bit of a nerd. Like, you spend a lot of time watching video analysis.
So is
There's a
Pep
lot of
Guardiola.
detailed coaching. Well, yeah, but he's not quite as successful, right? So you have a lot of superstars who don't love working with him. And what we've seen is at like more ambitious mid-ranking teams, he does really well, because you get guys who are a little bit, their egos are just a fraction smaller. They're a little bit more motivated. They're willing to sit through really long video analysis. It's fine. Neymar and the boys at PSG were not. So this is, but the theory is that his way of working over time it takes its toll on the players. So it's not a bad theory that Peter is putting forward there, I have to say.
I'm just wondering. I think he's done wonders for Villa, but Villa, as we all know, have had some financial issues and have not been able to buy players. I mean, am I wrong in saying that Newcastle's trying to get Morgan Rogers onto their roster, and that was weird today that he was playing against them? Isn't that a near deal?
I believe you might be mistaking him for Ramsey.
Oh,
Jacob Ramsey.
Oh, Jacob Ramsey. That's what it is. Yes.
Yeah, it's the other youngish English wide midfielder type man who they're trying to bring in.
Okay. Well, the game was absolutely dire. What a terrible game. Anthony Gordon
awful.
as a striker with a headband and floppy golden hair is very strange.
Yeah, so I was watching this with my father, and just pretty early on, it was clear, as I was banging on about you'll be delighted to know I'm on sort of non-stop annoying punditry mode when I watch games in a social setting as well.
Oh, wow.
I don't have a lot of friends, Peter. But it's one of those where it was so clear early on.
You and Peter are
that
two peas in a pod, man.
Yeah, that Newcastle were winning the midfield battle here by some margin. Like, Villa could not find a way through Guimaraes, Tonali and Joelinton, which, to be fair, is one of the best midfield trios in the league. But of course, Newcastle, having established that kind of midfield dominance, were not able to create anything because they were playing with three wingers up front, and they just didn't have any cutting edge at all. So it became this case of Villa can't create because they can't get through Newcastle's midfield. Newcastle can't create because they don't have anything up front, and it just became an absolutely awful game.
Well, I was bothered by the fact that Villa just couldn't ping any passes together. They were just passing it straight to Newcastle by players that you don't expect that from. McGinn was turning the ball over. Tielemans was turning the ball over. It was just, Villa just did not look up for the game today. And that's why I raised the question about Emery, if that's starting to become a thing. I hope not, because I really like him there. I hope they get it turned around and figured
He'll do
out.
well, though, in the European tournament they're playing in.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Newcastle, on the other hand, Isak not anywhere to be seen. Do you have any hot opinions about how that's going to play out?
I feel like I kind of dropped my hot take on that transfer saga already by just saying I don't agree with the resource allocation from Liverpool's side. Like, the amount of money it'll take for them to get him, they should probably spread that out over the squad a little bit, in my view. Now, it does seem to be pretty entrenched at this point, and in terms of him really wanting to leave the club. But there is precedent of this. There are club players who've gone on strike, players who've tried to leave the club, and who then just can't leave the club and go on to play one more good season for the club. This has happened before. We have the sort of slightly gentle versions, which is sort of Harry Kane not turning up for preseason training, eventually turned up, had another good season for Spurs, to the more sort of volatile of Luis Suarez, who was desperate to leave Liverpool, but then eventually came back to work and dropped, I think, his best season for the club before eventually leaving. So, like, these guys, it is possible to get them to come back to work, even when they are very upset. But it makes it more complicated. Of course it does.
Well, despite the red card late in the game, Newcastle can't muster anything else, and it ends up donuts. Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0. We'll take a break, let Lars go sip on some hot lemon water, soothe his voice on a lozenge, and when we come back, we'll get into the rest of the day's results, specifically the big Spurs win, Lars, next here on the KickAround.
Yes.
We will get into previewing United Arsenal here in about 15 minutes. And yes, Lars will join us. But first, welcome back to the KickAround. Andy and I are here, and Lars has joined us live via the miracle of the internet from Norway as we get into today's results in the opening week of the Premier League. I guess, Lars, all the fun mostly got sucked up yesterday, but there was some really good late results in the other games that took place today. And we also got to see new-look Man City thrash Wolves. Tijani Reinders is really good, Lars. I'm afraid to say it. It's just too depressing to me that he turned out to be really good in Pep's system.
I did try to tell you on a couple of occasions.
I know. I was just thinking maybe
I went to Milan last season and saw him in the flesh, and yeah, the guy's good.
It dawned on me that you are destined. It's like ordained that you're going to be world class at anything when your parents give you a name that has 3 J's in it.
Is that a thing? It's the only way then.
Is that the only person on the earth that has a name with 3 J's in it?
Off the top of my head, Peter, I cannot help you with that. The double J is not something you see very often in the first name.
Let alone a triple J, right?
A triple J. He's got a J at his last name, too. All right, so Wolves got put to the sword today by City. And was there anything interesting about Pep's lineup today for you, Lars?
I mean, not a ton, really. I guess you would say the fact that Oscar Bob is starting. After all the money spent and all the changes, it is actually Oscar Bob, Norwegian, which is exciting for me, but also an academy kid who Pep seems to really, really like. And he did say this last season when Bob was unavailable for almost the entire year with a long-term injury, that was a real blow, even though he was an academy kid who people hadn't really heard of. It seems like Pep kind of developed a bit of a man crush on him in preseason last year, wanted to really have him be a big part of the team. And then, of course, he got injured. And Pep brought that up, his absence, as one of the things that really hurt Man City last year. So, yeah, that academy, they've put a lot of money into at Man City, seems to be churning out players.
Andy, you like me, had you totally forgotten about Oscar Bob?
Yes.
I had completely... Because he broke his leg last year, Lars?
Yeah.
Early. Yeah.
Well, he was good. They were all really, really good, and then they just kept rolling out players. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, I'm just going to speak for myself. I spent a lot of time this offseason thinking that Pep's got quite a job at hand to rebuild this thing into a machine. And I get it's Wolves. I get it.
I was going to ask, how much of this is City? How much of this is Wolves?
Lars?
Yeah, I think that is a pertinent question to ask. I think my concern about City going forward, as I may have said in last week's show, depending on how much of my audio clips you used, is that I just think they're a little front heavy. I think there's not a ton of again, similar to Liverpool, I guess, there's not a ton of protection for the defense there. Now, that is not going to be as big a problem against Wolves. And the big positive for them was that we saw Rangers hit the ground running. We saw Bob be back and look sharp. And Ryan Cherky scored a goal when he came on. So just a 10 out of 10 day for Man City. Just unclear how much that really means in terms of the big question. Can they actually challenge for a title this year?
Yeah, and what's the Rodri latest? Do either of you know?
I haven't heard much lately. There was some story floating around earlier in the week that it may be worse than they thought, and it was going to take a while. Have you heard anything new, Lars?
The only thing I've seen Guardiola say publicly is that they're going to have to be very careful and gentle and take their time with him.
So, I'm sorry, Lars, but I'm going to ask you this. Knowing that, what you just said, and that the Rodri thing is a little worse, I have him finishing third, and I think
I had
Lars,
him fourth.
You had him fourth, Peter. Lars, you had him third as well.
Also third, yeah.
Yeah. Do you rethink that, and maybe they finish a little lower than third, or is this squad, you think, good enough for top three? Without Rodri.
I think a lot of the things I just said about Liverpool is true for this team. I think they've got enough attacking firepower to just smash quite a lot of teams in this league. But I do think there are defensive gaps that some teams will be able to exploit, and that they'll, in the end, drop too many points to win the league. But I still think they're a better team than... we'll see. I mean, of course, Chelsea are now basking in the glory of winning the Club World Cup, the most important summer tournament in the US. But even more important than the Premier League Summer Series and the 2005 Peace Cup.
There you go. Okay.
But I still think City, I have them as being a slightly better team than Chelsea. Let's not forget, this is Pep Guardiola we're talking about. He wins more championships than he loses, right?
He does. All right, Lars, it's your turn. Speaking of illusions, how much of City winning was that they were playing Wolves? Tottenham 3, Burnley 0. Burnley gave up only 16 goals in the entirety of last season when they got promoted from the championship. They gave up 3 goals today alone. Are you feeling like Spurs are back, Lars?
I mean, they gave up 16 goals off an XG of 39 and have since lost their goalkeeper and one of the center halves. So that's not super promising. I mean, but
they've got Kyle Walker, Lars.
Kyle Walker is there, yeah, and he did some good bits in this this game. Actually, you know
that's a fun ticket term.
This game was not as straightforward as the highlights and the score would tell you, right? Tottenham scored early, which is very useful. But then I think they went into like narcoleptic mode. I think they were like, oh yeah, we're playing Burnley at home. We've scored early. This is fine. And it kind of wasn't fine. They really allowed Burnley to grow back into the game. And just before they scored the second goal, actually Burnley had more shots in the game so far than Tottenham had. And they were just kind of creeping back into it, Burnley. They didn't have the quality to take advantage of any of those situations because they're not a very good team. But Tottenham were worryingly lax. But then, of course, you get the second goal and that tremendous overhead kick from Richarlison. And then, of course, it's fine. It's good. It's no problem. And in the end, it's a solid 3-0 win for Tottenham.
So, Lars, when it was still 1-0 and Burnley started to push, were you worried that maybe you were about to go into a third straight Spursy result of giving up leads in a game?
Well, I don't really acknowledge this, that every time a team gives up a lead, it's Spursy. I mean, that's just lazy and stupid, to be honest. That's not for me.
I agree.
But I did think.
I agree. It's lazy and stupid thinking, and it's
clearly
lazy
the
and
only
stupid
team
statement.
that's ever given up a lead. That's not for me. But I was sitting on the sofa going, you really need to make a sub here. Like, we've completely lost control of the midfield. Time for Palhinha to come in. It's time for something to happen. And then out of almost nothing, you get a little bit of magic from Mohamed Kudus and just a straight-up overhead kick from Richarlison, who the Pigeon Commander, who looks revitalized. The Pigeon Commander is commanding. It was good to see.
Quick note. Who needs Harry Kane and Son for a combination when you now have Kudus and Richarlison?
Those 2 assists were
great.
Sweet.
Really great.
Palhinha not starting, is that surprising?
I just wanted to point something out. And I sent this to Lars. Do you realize that Spurs starting midfield today average age of 20? A 19-year-old, a 19-year-old, and a 22-year-old. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Archie Gray and Lucas Bergvall, of course, were, one of those big bets they took last summer on young players, which might pay off in the long run, but ended up being an issue because they had squad depth issues last year. But no, I thought Bergvall in particular had some really good moments today. The tall, blonde Swedish kid can run, let me tell you. And Kudus, I mean, 2 assists for Kudus. Kudus is an incredibly technical guy, a very fun, dribbly player. But the strike against him at West Ham was that his actual output wasn't great. In 31 starts last season, he only scored 5 goals and had 3 assists. So that's 3 assists all year for West Ham last year, 2 already for Spurs.
That's a perfect segue to the next game. Sunderland 3, West Ham 0. The question is, as a neutral, do we just want to spend time celebrating Sunderland, or do we suddenly get really worried about the fate of one West Ham United, Lars?
Well, we should celebrate Sunderland because, of course, I think a lot of people listening to this, if you're a soccer head, you maybe have seen the Netflix show charting their sort of plunge into the depths of the English league system. To see them back in the Premier League is tremendous. And really, they were a team that they didn't get relegated. They didn't get promoted in a very convincing manner. They got promoted just about. Like, they snuck into the promotion spot. They got up. And I thought they were going to have a hugely difficult time this season. They made a lot of transfers this summer. The coach, Régis Lebris, is very well thought of. It's a big job for him to make this all work together. And an opening day win in what could prove to be a relegation 6-pointer against West Ham. It's a huge day for them. What a day for the season ticket holders at the Stadium of Light. Tremendous stuff.
I think the scenes were special today,
were great.
Right?
The
I think,
tifo, the whole thing,
the score aside and the result on the field and all that, I think, the scenes when the teams were coming on the field, that they were back, right? That they're playing a game now again in the Premier League. That was exciting. They scored their first goal. It was an insane moment. But what I was telling Peter off air was that second goal, that's when it kind of like when I think it kind of dawned on them
that this wasn't going to be like they weren't going to blow it.
Right. There's hope. We're winning this game. There's hope. We're not up and down. And I should take that back. It's rare that in the Premier League for just like a whatever game of the season, you see that kind of emotion after a goal from the home crowd.
It was tremendous. And as I was watching, hold on one second. As I was watching the game, and it was still 0-0 late in the game, and I thought, this is not good that West Ham cannot score against Sunderland. This does not look good. And, of course, it turned out I would have been shocked at 1-0 Sunderland win, but 3-0, West Ham just kind of melted after that opening goal, and you just wonder how much time Graham Potter's got left in that role at West Ham.
Yeah, I get a little worried as well, actually, because just the nature of the two first goals as well. So avoidable. Like, they're quite sort of both the two first goals for Sunderland came from crosses into the box, and they weren't really whipped in. They were quite
floater
deep,
headers,
sort of
right?
High crosses.
Yeah.
And West Ham are playing with three at the back. You've got three centre halves on the pitch, and you've got Wan-Bissaka, right wing back, who's built like a centre half. Like, those sort of floaty balls into the box should be very, very basic for you to deal with. And that's an upsetting way for them to lose the game. Graham Potter seemed annoyed about it after the game, and that puts him on the back foot from day one. It really does.
Worrying scenes for the Hammers, for sure. All right, to finish up the day, it wasn't a super exciting result. Brighton was up 1-0, but in the 96th minute, Fulham, Muñoz scores off a corner. A kind of a deflection lands at him, and he just volleys it in, and Fulham ends up getting the point. Brighton won, Fulham won. Lars, what's your favorite part, the result or those crazy Fulham away kits?
I'm going to have to say the results, Peter, because I'm not a big kit guy, as you know.
Just to process a deduction.
The result itself was not that exciting either. No, what it is I think I like Brighton quite a lot. I think Brighton are the sort of the mid-ranking team that I like the most, probably going into the season. But this is two kind of bad points drops. They were the better team in this game. They were 1-0 up. You just need to close out the game, and you didn't. And it's that kind of like, I'm inclined to say immaturity that will cost you over the course of a season. Like when you have the game in the palm of your hand like that, against Fulham at home, you really do need to put that to bed. So that is a sort of low-key big oopsie from Brighton, I would argue.
It's funny. Brighton is one of the teams in all the different predictions. There's 3 or 4 teams that, man, the spectrum of choices or predictions runs the gamut, and Brighton's one of those. And I think I had them 8th or something, but I don't know. I don't know how that season's going to end up for them. And you're right. I think that's 2 points they're going to rue letting go away.
You had them 10th.
I had them 10th. Is that was a Fulham, though? I'm happy for Fulham. That's a great result for them. All right, Lars, we're going to take a break. Do you think you can sustain for one more segment to talk Arsenal Manchester United preview?
Yeah, if you guys can still hear me, let's crack on.
All right, we'll do that next here on the KickAround. Oh, Christian Pulisic, why must you be that way? We'll get into that drama in our favorite news segment, World Cup Nerd, here, and I'd say about 15 or 20 minutes on the Kick-Around. But first, Andy and I are here, and via the miracle of the internet is playing hurt Lars Sivertsen. You okay, buddy?
Yeah, hanging in there. As long as you can just make out the words I'm saying, we're good.
That's critical to radio broadcasting. All right, before we talk about United and Arsenal, just quickly, the other games happening tomorrow and Monday. Chelsea hosting Crystal Palace, Forest hosting Brentford, and Leeds, the return of Ellen Road, and Everton finish out the opening round of the Premier League. Anything in particular about those 3 games that tickle your fancy, Lars?
Well, we'll be looking at the starting lineups for Chelsea Crystal Palace with particular interest, because news reporting this evening that Tottenham and to an extent Arsenal are making a push to sign Eberechi Eze, and that he might not even be in the matchday squad because the transfer is that possible in terms of maybe happening. So more transfer drama overshadowing the actual start of the season. And I'm intrigued to watch Chelsea, fresh off this huge win in the Club World Cup.
Best club in the
full
world.
Of confidence. Absolutely, that's what they are. And can they actually be? I think we've had a top 3 now for a little while with Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. But can we have a top 4 this season? Are Chelsea ready to join that company? I'm not 100% sold, but I'm willing to be convinced.
Andy, any of those 3 games tickle you?
I think tomorrow, United, Arsenal, obviously, but all the games tomorrow are juicy. I think they're more intriguing than today's games in many ways. I want to see what Forest brings back. I mean, are they gonna? Is it, are they? What are we gonna get from Forest this year? I mean, one game is not going to be able to tell us everything, and then Crystal Palace. Now they got 2 trophies in that trophy case.
Everything's coming up Palace, it felt like. Yeah, no, I mean, look, being Palace, the perennial 12th place team, winning those 2 trophies is a really big deal. I mean, that's the whole point to playing those competitions is hope, Lars. But the team that I'm interested in seeing tomorrow, other than the obvious, is Brentford, because that is a team that has largely been deconstructed. And we talk about what a smart organization and how well they are run. I've heard them on more than one prediction show get relegated by several people. I don't have them that low, but I'm really curious how the Bees are going to pull off this 2025-26 season.
I concur with you that I think the owner, Matthew Benham, is really smart. I think he's in the same bracket as Tony Bloom, the Brighton owner. He made his money in the gambling sphere and has sort of grown his club with some investment, but steadily and through being the smartest guy in the room more often than not. You would expect him to be able to absorb the departure of a head coach and the loss of a couple of players that they've lost over the last 18 months or so. But I kind of look at the lineup they can field now and a completely inexperienced head coach thinking there is a possibility that Brentford just kind of turns back into a pumpkin this season and have a big problem.
All right. And then on Monday, for those who are new to the league or watching, Ellen Road, where Leeds play, is arguably one of the loudest, most atmosphere-filled stadiums in the league. Have you ever been to Ellen Road, Lars?
Yeah, I have not actually, because they were not in the league back when I was on the Premier League reporter beat. So that is
he didn't trouble himself.
Black mark on my record.
He didn't trouble himself with lower level.
Didn't sully the championship back in the day. Mm-hmm. They're hosting Everton, which is its own interesting story. Jack Grealish is now a toffee. Lars, does that interest you at all?
It does interest me, because I've been calling for Jack Grealish to go somewhere else for a while now, because he's been shackled by Guardiola. It's been a shadow of his former self. Now, does he still have enough gas in the tank to be the Jack Grealish of old? We don't really know that. There's some question marks over his lifestyle while at Manchester. I think
is it like Kyle Walker that he has good bits, or a different kind of lifestyle?
No, it's more a case as Jonathan Wilson, the great football writer Jonathan Wilson, very delicately put in his article about this. There are few modern footballers who have been allowed themselves to be pictured in the vicinity of alcohol quite as often as Jack Grealish. So nobody is really suggesting that he's a raging drinker, but he does seem to have more of a personal life off the field.
His XF is high.
Yeah. Jack Grealish on a night out, the XF is absolutely sky high. I can tell you that.
But there's a bill. Expected fun, by the way.
But there's a cost to be paid for that. I mean, Mo Salah basically lives like a monk, and there's one of the reasons he's still able to do it at his age. So some question marks over Grealish, but I'm just happy to see him at a club where he will be indulged a little bit more and will be allowed to have fun. So
I understand what you're saying, Lars. XF and XG are inversely proportional. That's what you just said.
They can be, but they don't have to be.
Okay.
They can be, they don't have to be.
All right. We'll finish up this segment with the big game, at least for most of us tomorrow. 10:30, Manchester United host Arsenal. Lars, pause for 1 second. Andy doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I am going to do this. Andy, what is your prediction for Man United Arsenal tomorrow?
Well, having picked United to finish in the top 4 in 4th place, and having picked Arsenal to raise the trophy, you can see how I have a dilemma with tomorrow's prediction, as I see both teams needing to get off to a good start to live up to my expectations. So therefore, I call a draw. How about a 1-1 draw?
Oh, man, I would be so excited by a 1-1 draw. Lars, here's I'm going to let you run with this for a minute, but I'm my feeling about this game is that it's weird that both of these teams very much need a result tomorrow because they're both running under weird specters of suspicion for very different reasons. Arsenal, second. They've got to start winning. They've paid a lot of money to get Gyökeres. United, on the other hand, have gone all in on Amorim, a manager who is clearly just going to stick to this system that didn't win them many games last year. He's got to start winning games. And United getting a draw or only losing 1-0 is not a big problem. But for Arsenal, if they don't blow United out of the water tomorrow, I think that is a weird start to the season for them. Is that a bad read on it?
I understand what you're trying to do, Peter, but I don't completely agree.
No, he's a drama queen,
forget.
Lars.
I think Arsenal and Arteta don't really get enough credit for what they've done the last couple of seasons, just because they haven't gotten across the line. They have, and Arteta reminded everyone about this week. Over the last 3 seasons, Arsenal have the most points in the league, like over a 3-season table, if that was the thing. And I think for a team that finished 8th consecutive seasons not that long ago, that is a big achievement. Now, they haven't gotten across the line, I know, and that's a big sore point for a lot of people. But I think Arteta should have a lot of credit in the bank for taking him back to that level. There's absolutely nothing. You should not take it for granted that Arsenal were going to get back to that level. And I think he has more goodwill than you give him credit for.
Okay, but if they end up if Andy's right and it goes 1-1, who's going to feel better about that?
They'll probably see that as 2 points dropped. Really, I mean, United on the last couple of seasons' performance, I think Old Trafford is now a game a team like Arsenal will be expecting to win. But of course, it's the opening day of the season. You've got some new signings who are keen to impress. It wouldn't be a disaster, but I think Arsenal would see it as a slight disappointment. I think they would, yeah.
The other weird part of this is how the universe flipped, and United ended up with Sesko, and Arsenal ended up with Gyökeres, who used to play for Amorim at Sporting, and Sesko is who Arsenal originally wanted when the window opened. Do you think both of those guys start tomorrow?
That seems very likely, yeah. So that's an interesting head-to-head. I mean, what seems to have happened with Sesko is that Arsenal looked at him and looked at the transfer fee and went, nope, and then got a different forward. And then in the end, United, when they realized they needed a forward, they just had to pay the price, and they did. Not for the first time in the last few years. United seems to have paid out a price that very few people in Europe were willing to pay for a player. Maybe it'll work better for them this time. It hasn't worked very well for them the last couple of times.
Why am I the only one that has to make a prediction about tomorrow? What's your prediction, Peter?
Oh, I think Arsenal will probably win the game 3-1, 2-0 by 2 goals. I think Arsenal will. I'm very concerned that Amorim's going to throw out Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro midfield. He's probably going to go more defensive. He probably won't start Ahmad as the wingback. He'll probably start Diallo instead out on the right. And it's very much a work in progress. And man, Zubimendi's going to be a tremendous addition for Arsenal.
Great addition for Arsenal.
In my predictions, I have Arsenal 3rd, but I also predict them to win Champions League. By the way.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah. And Lars, what do you think tomorrow happens?
2-1 Arsenal, let's say that. And I have Arsenal to win the league this season, of course.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Regrettably for a Spurs fan, I'm big on Arsenal this year.
I think it'll be I think the game will be entertaining to watch. I don't think it'll be a bloodbath. It'll probably come down to set pieces, probably. Arsenal's really good at set pieces, and so far, since the summer series, and we saw in a couple of other games, United has yet to prove that they're really good at set pieces, at defending them at least. So that's probably a really good place to think about how that result's going to happen.
10:30, right?
10:30, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Lars, what else, bud? You got anything else you want to point out before we let you go take a nap?
Arteta has talked about this stuff about not winning the league yet, and he gave a quote that I want to read out. He says, "You keep digging, And you have to be digging because one day the gold is going to be there. That is Arteta's line on this. So that's Arsenal's game plan this year. Just keep digging. Keep digging.
All right. Very good. Well, that's the big one tomorrow. Lars, I hope you're feeling better. You did great, buddy. I know you were worried about it. I thought you were fantastic
I'm definitely
today.
feeling a little worse than I was 45 minutes ago, but tomorrow I'm sure I'll be fine.
But you made the P1 happy, Lars, and that should soothe you.
It does. It's a very, very kind listenership. I mean, the time I did explode my leg, I got very many nice messages, particularly from the P1. So I still remember that. So you got some very nice people listening to the show. Delighted to be on yet again. I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you. Everybody go subscribe and download his podcast, The Lars Resort, wherever you listen to podcasts. Lars, have a great one. We'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Lars.
All right, when we come back, it's our favorite new weekly segment, World Cup Nerd, next here on the KickAround. Oh, my gosh. That's the theme. It's our theme, Andy. And I don't mean KickAround theme. I mean, it's our theme.
The theme.
Welcome back to the KickAround. We will do dribble here before the end of the show, but first it is time to do our favorite new soccer segment, World Cup Nerd, because between now and next summer, it's just nothing but World Cup, and we wanted to throw out a segment every week trying to do something specific about the World Cup, and this one is tied to the story that broke this week with the new episode of Pulisic, which is the dumbest idea for a soccer series ever because this kid is so low personality.
Plus, he's young and I don't know. It just seems like an odd time in his career to roll this out.
Yes, and now they've begun to use this as some sort of weird PR tool to foster this weird division between him and the coaching staff. And, of course, we all know that Christian said, look, I'd be happy to play in friendlies, but I don't want to play in the Gold Cup. And that created a whole bunch of problems. On this week's episode, his team tries to get him to talk about that. And this explosive quote from Christian came out of it.
I'd say the most annoying thing, and for me the biggest cop-out of all time, is when, especially, all pundits want to say, they didn't want it. They didn't have the heart. Back in our day, we would fight and we would die on that field.
That one went around well this week. And then, of course, and this kind of mirrors the whole Gio Reyna thing, the helicopter parent. Here's his dad, Mark, in the same episode.
These guys want clicks. It's social media, it's subscribe to my channels, listen to my podcasts, or whatever. I think they should look in the mirror and look at their last performances for the national team before they start talking.
Can I ask a question?
Why is Daddy talking for me?
Can you imagine Brazil's number 10 or France's number 10 or Spain's number 10?
The Marshall Islands number 10?
Their dad going to the media because the media is a little too harsh.
No.
Or the pundits aren't being fair.
No, this bums me out greatly. And here's the thing. This is an episode...
Because this media is nothing compared to if you wear one of those national team uniforms.
Could you imagine England? Let's just use England.
England. Argentina, yes.
Yes,
right. Yeah. Italy.
It would be bloodshed.
Yes.
Now, here's the real question that I have, which is this limited to Christian? And I don't think it is, because really, out of all the audio that I heard, because I did not watch the full episode, is my concern that the worst comments didn't come from Christian, but Mr. Tim Weah.
I think those guys are chasing checks, and for me, I just feel like they're really evil, honestly, because they've been players and they know what it's like when you're getting bashed, and those are the same guys that'll turn around and shake your hand and try to be friendly with you at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong, I respect all of them. I mean, there were players that I looked up to, but quite frankly, the guys before us didn't win anything either.
Well, they got the farthest of any national team in a World Cup in history. Well, no, not that, except for the 1930 team. But, yeah, again,
So I hear that, and I think to myself, okay, wait, is this attitude pervasive across the whole roster? Like, is this how McKennie feels? Is this how Serginho Dest feels?
And I think the worry, too, is that Pochettino, the coach, has also publicly said some things similar to what these pundits have said, or said, hey, I call the shots, he doesn't get to decide, whatever. So do they feel the same way about their coach?
I don't know. And I watch all of this, and I think to myself, okay, they're not getting out of their group, are they?
Well, a lot of it depends on who ends up in their group, but that's independent of this or not.
But this feels so broken.
So,
I don't care if it's Guatemala.
So you're having angst because of what's
Canary
happening.
Islands and
so this is making
Montenegro.
it worse. You feel this is making it all worse. But let me show you some examples of teams, national teams that, for example, is this as bad as the government of your country intervening and calling what the starting lineup should be?
Well, that sounds pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay, so the 1970 Brazil team had the government get involved. They fired the coach, hired a new coach. Pele was going to get left off the squad, and they ended up winning the World Cup. That's the turmoil they were in heading into the 1970 World Cup.
That does seem worse than helicopter parent.
And now considered the best team in World Cup history, right? So we'll start with that. Okay, but that's Brazil. Italy. Is this as bad as your star player being suspended 2 years before the World Cup for match fixing, only to be reinstated like weeks before the tournament started? Is this as bad as that?
Yeah, that seems like that would be a bad scene to start off a tournament
That's
with.
Italy 1982, world champions, and that was happening as they headed in the tournament. Is this as bad as your star forward getting kicked off the team for blackmailing somebody on your team? That was the France in turmoil. Remember the locker room heading into 2018? What happened to France in 2018? Who won that World Cup? France won that World Cup. None of these things are as bad as those things, right?
Who were the two players involved? What was the name of that?
Benzema.
He was the one that was blackmailing. Who was it?
Okay, but this is Brazil, Italy, France. You're like, okay, give me some normal teams. Because those are big problems, but those are like powers.
Right.
Okay, so Morocco, the coach with Morocco heading into the 2022 World Cup, kicked off the team, two of the best players that they had. The coach was fired, and a new coach was put in place a month before the tournament started. Imagine Pochettino getting fired a month before the tournament. We were so worried about him getting fired mid-cycle.
Right.
This guy was fired a month before a new coach came on. Morocco reached the semifinals of the World Cup. Those two players were put back on the team.
Yeah, it seems like a bad situation.
How about a U.S.-level team that hosted a World Cup and went into the World Cup they were hosting in turmoil? So mid-cycle, South Korea fires their coach with about 18 months remaining to the World Cup gets played. They're hosting the World Cup in 2002. Mm-hmm. They go on to lose the three friendlies leading up to the World Cup by 5-0. All three, they lost 5-0. The locker room was a disaster. Players wanted the coach fired. The media, the pundits, I think they were probably a little bit more critical than these guys are being now against this team. They ended up getting to the semifinal of the tournament they hosted. Things could be a lot worse, dude, than helicopter parents voicing off.
Yeah.
Mouthing off.
You're right. And probably way too much drama is, by myself and other people, is being made about this. But we can all agree it's annoying.
Sure.
The fact that this is even happening, and the fact that this weird documentary series is being used to foster this story and kind of add fuel to the fire.
Does it make you feel any better that if this all happened in like 98 or 02, it would have been like nothing would have been made of it, but now because we're such a bigger soccer nation, quote.
Well, it probably has more to do with how all of this stuff gets communicated, because it's all put in your face.
Yeah.
And back in 98, we would have had to read about it in a newspaper.
Yeah, but they weren't writing as much about soccer.
Or Soccer
either.
America.
They wouldn't. A documentary wouldn't have been made. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a byproduct of just how everybody's got to create content.
Yeah.
And
plus, we've evolved. If pundits are getting in fights with star players and the coaches in the middle of things, this is what the Brazils and Argentinas and Englands go through as well.
And maybe this is just part of the growing pain of becoming a soccer nation.
Holland and their locker room issues. You think you have problems heading into a World Cup? Holland, every World Cup heading into the World Cup has issues in the room. It's just,
Could you imagine the Italian press when they don't even make the World Cup?
Like it has happened to them last couple World Cups. So
I do think that's part of the interesting question that it comes out of what happened this week, which is it's Pulisic and Weah criticizing the criticism.
Yeah.
It's not them crapping on Pochettino or the coaching staff.
Yeah, good thing.
Which is good, but I do wonder if it is some sort of indicator of just kind of their mental capacity to manage the stress or criticism and just let it go away so that they can focus on winning games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. But can you imagine, what South Korea lost 3 games, 3 friendlies, 5-0. And the point there is that ultimately those games don't matter. It's like, what are you doing right before the World Cup? How well are you playing, and who is in your group?
Everybody's attitude about the U.S. men's national team will be formed on the basis of 2 things: the draw and the form of the key players in the weeks and months leading up to the tournament.
Right.
If Pulisic's on a heater, if Serginho Dest is back and banging goals, Ricardo Pepi or whoever.
Playing with confidence and all that. Yeah.
Playing with confidence and whatever's going on.
Now, if Pulisic has a hammy issue,
right,
and, whatever, the goal, yes, right? Mm-hmm. So it's all about how you feel about the team heading in. And a semifinal run is not out of the question if everything falls into place, but everything has to fall into place. Odds of that happening? Probably not great, but a good run is possible even with all these issues.
And we were talking about this before the show, and I know we've mentioned this on the air before, but it's been a while. But when FIFA announced the schedule for the World Cup, what is this path that you mentioned?
Yeah, if the U.S. finishes second in their group and it keeps advancing to the quarters.
Yeah, the quarterfinal.
Yeah, which will be played here July 3rd. The U.S. would play in that quarterfinal. No, it's the round of 16. July. Keep talking.
Well, so Andy is calculating, but essentially the path is already
July
predetermined.
3rd.
Yeah,
July 3rd, round of 32.
So the U.S. could play a knockout match here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area at the Death Star on the day before Independence Day.
Yeah,
which is the 250th.
Yeah.
The 250th anniversary of the United States, which would be amazing.
So July 3rd here, U.S., if they finish second in their group.
It's weird because if the U.S. ends up playing in that game, the overall mood about the club or the team is going to be very good. Like if they got out of their group and they're in, is this the first round of the knockouts or the second round?
Round of 32.
So the first round of the knockouts. I think generally everybody's going to be feeling good about the team.
But they'll play another second-place team.
That would depend on how they got out of the group. If they were in a weak group and ended up second, maybe everybody's kind of poo-poo about the team,
Yeah, but here, locally,
we will all be excited.
We will all be super psyched, right? That the national team is playing here in a World Cup.
In a World Cup knockout game. Yeah, that would be great. Okay. So what I'm hearing Andy say is no matter how bad the drama is, there's worse drama in the history of the World Cup, and those teams have won the World Cup. So maybe we need more.
Maybe we need more drama.
We need more Christian Pulisic daddy drama. Maybe we need to get Gio Reyna and his dad involved and his mom involved.
Now you went too far.
Okay,
now you went too far.
All right, there you go. There's World Cup Nerd. We come back, we'll do America's favorite soccer segment, The Dribble, next on the KickAround. Don't forget, if you miss any or all parts of an episode, KickArounds are always available as podcasts. Starting on Sundays, we post them after the day after. So you can find that. Just search the KickAround wherever you listen to your podcast. Welcome back. We have made it to the final segment of yet another episode of the KickAround. Let's do America's favorite soccer segment, known as The Dribble. So, Andy, right off the bat, I am proud to say the Marshall Islands, the last nation in the world without a international football team, has not only played in their first game, but have now scored not one but 2 goals after 2 games. But they are 0-2 in the Outrigger Cup, being played in, yes, I'm about to say this out loud, Arkansas.
It's the Outrigger Challenge Cup.
Oh, Challenge
Peter.
Cup.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it's not the first annual. They've had it before, apparently.
Did I say first annual?
No.
Oh.
But people might think that it's, in commemoration of the Marshall Islands playing a game, but no.
So they lost to the U.S. Virgin Islands 4-0 in their first game.
Yeah.
And earlier today they played Turks and Caicos.
Right.
To a 3-2 loss.
Correct. U.S. Virgin Islands and Turks and Caicos, who are ranked 206 and 207 in the world, by the way.
Somehow, I saw this also in the ELO rankings. Marshall Islands aren't last. They're actually 234 out of 236.
Why? Because they played a game?
I guess because they played a game. There were 2 other nations that one was a Micronesia, had Micronesia in the name. The other one I had never heard of.
So you asked who I thought would perform. I think you predicted the high school team. Is it a high school team or college? High school team.
It's a high school. So here, I just want to point out for the listeners, the level of this is that the 4th team in the tournament is a Arkansas-based club called Ozark United, and it's their U19 team.
Right.
And Turk and Caicos tied them 3-3.
Yeah.
And they play the Virgin Islands tonight.
Yeah, correct.
So whatever that means to you.
Yeah. Hey, Virgin Islands are still in first place, which is what I predicted. So there you go.
I said, So Marshall Islands is now up to 234. The Federated States of Micronesia, Kiribati, Tonga, Niue, Northern Mariana Islands, Palau, and Eastern Samoa round out the bottom of the ELO rankings currently.
Real quick, watching the games, the highlights, right? We're talking about this. The football field turned soccer field, and they have lines for football. They have lines for soccer. They have lines for lacrosse, apparently. But it wasn't too long ago some MLS teams were playing on fields like that.
Yeah, one
before the soccer-specific
Dallas
stadiums.
Burn.
Yeah, I mean
South Lake.
Yeah, and what the Fire played at that other place. What was it, Bridgeport? Whatever it was. Yeah.
So it's a really sweet story. Marshall Islands, the fact that they've got this team together and it's been kind of crowd-forced and all crowd-sourced and everything. It's really cool. They got one more game left. They'll have to play the local Ozark United U19 team before it's all over. Hopefully they will get a win before all is said and done, but a fun story nonetheless. Now we move over to the championship, where 2 teams that we watch on television have been going at it. Now remember, Wrexham had not a great start to the season. They played today and ended up losing again 3-2.
Our boys are not off to a good start, Peter.
No, they are not off to a good start. They are now because they've scored 3 goals, they are not in the relegation zone. There are 6 teams that are on 2 games and 0 points, but they have, on goal differential, got themselves out of the relegation zone.
This is a home match against a tough opponent, but a home match that
they played West Brom today, who are 3rd.
Yeah.
Now, Birmingham City, Tom Brady's Blues, they got a win very, very late. They beat Blackburn today 3-2 on a goal, I think, in the 96th minute. Yeah, so they sit in 6th place on 4 points after a win and a tie. They are undefeated.
They were losing 1-0. In the 90th, they get a penalty.
Yes.
To make it 1-1, and then in the 98th, they score their second goal. So they barely won that game.
Will we get some footage of Tom Brady celebrating the big late win?
I'm out on the show, by the way. I've talked to some people that they tuned in for 1 or 2, and they're out.
So I think
just because of Tom Brady's
3
arrogance.
Episodes in, I think that's what I'm at.
So you're gonna keep it. You're gonna keep going.
I'm gonna try to keep watching.
You're such a nerd.
I was talking. This is going to sound like I'm bragging, but I was talking to a friend of mine who is a former NFL pro and NCAA great, the great David Thompson, who played at Oklahoma State and for the Rams.
Wow.
And I was trying to I was trying to make an analogy for him about this because he had heard about the show but didn't know if he should watch it. And I said, David, do you know who Pele is? And he goes, well, of course I know who Pele is. And I said, now imagine Pele, the greatest player in the history of the game, coming into your NFL locker room and trying to give you a pep talk.
Or we can even do Messi for modern times.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, imagine Messi walking into your locker room, at the Rams locker room, the St. Louis Rams locker room, and giving you a pep talk. Because that's the problem with this show, is watching Tom Brady try to give English football players pep talks is really difficult.
Yeah. It's cringy.
I can tell that he's been told and asked to do it for the camera. But I can't figure out if he's self-aware enough to know that this is not a good look for him.
Yeah. Just his approach is very
Too
NFL.
many F-bombs.
It's very NFL locker. It's just different. Different cultures. Sports cultures.
Yeah. It's just different. Like, they I'm sure they all admire you or respect you, Tom, but not in the way that needs to be done for you to be giving them a pep talk.
Right. Yep.
Which is crazy.
And that way, have you seen some of those talks that the Wrexham guys give, the owners, when they go in the locker rooms?
It's very kind of like, hey, we know we shouldn't be in here.
Yeah, exactly. Very. Yeah. It's just more honest and real. Anyway, yep.
And there's a little bit of that with the Italian one, Running with the Wolves.
I got to keep going with that. Have you kept going with it?
There's only 4 episodes. I got to say, I kind of like it.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, he's not an unlikable dude.
Yeah.
Kelly Ripa is kind of annoying in it, and the sub-story about them buying a house is a waste of time. But those guys that have bought this team, they actually know the game, and they're really into it. And that part of it, and as we said, it's in Italy. So Running with the Wolves, it's on ESPN Plus. I think it's worth your time. We don't get to talk about this enough, but Dallas Trinity Football Club, the women's team, our local women's pro team, their second season kicks off, Andy.
Wow.
Next weekend.
With exhibition matches or the season?
The season starts next weekend, the 23rd, at the Cotton Bowl. They play against Spokane, the Zephyrs. They've really overturned the roster. They've changed. Well, they got rid of the coach, and they're still looking for a coach. But I have a feeling that the general manager, who is a former head coach in other leagues, I have a feeling he's going to end up being their head coach whether he likes it or not.
So he's the interim once again until they find
one.
Okay, got it.
And we're all waiting for the return of one Lexi Missimo from an injury, and I think she may have had some sort of surgery too. So don't forget to go check them out. They're at the Cotton Bowl starting next weekend at 7:30. And the Burn have a game tonight down in Austin. This is the second game kind of post Lucho Acosta. We'll see how all that goes. They're also playing against former coach Nico Estevez again.
A little bit of a rivalry there as well.
A little bit there going on. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, are you going to get to the last item in the? Because
the Chelsea thing?
Yeah.
We talked about that.
We did at the start.
We talked about it at the start. I just wanted to take your temperature.
Yeah.
We finished up the first week, or we're in the middle of the first week of the Premier League season. You don't seem very enthusiastic about this.
About what?
The season. You seem like you're worried about it.
No, I just fear it's a long slog. And I think it's a little bit of soccer fatigue, honestly, and especially soccer in our country. Lots of games being played, lots of meaningless games being played. We have the Leagues Cup and MLS, and then this tournament, that tournament. Now we start league play, and then it's
the specter of other leagues playing official games in our country.
And you know what it is? I'm so now focused and just looking forward to World Cup 2026 that this is all kind of like not everybody feels it. But it's noise a little bit,
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. And it's weird to me how we went from a nation where trying to find soccer was really difficult, and it wasn't that long ago, where we were pretty much relegated to Fox Soccer Channel, right?
Yeah,
if that. And then we got MLS games, and those were, hard to find, and you kind of fell into those. And now it's all over the place. I mean, there is so much to be chosen from and spend your money towards. And I do wonder how much danger our domestic leagues are in. And I'm not talking just about MLS. I'm talking about the USLs trying to, kick themselves off as a Division I team.
I think it's going to start affecting the major leagues in the world. It's going to start affecting the EPL and La Liga, and it's already affecting France because they're not getting the TV money because that money has to go to pay other things, other competitions, and it's affecting that league. I wouldn't be surprised if those leagues have to cut back somehow because there's so much going on.
What's the old saying, too much of a good thing?
Yeah.
Because you could see a situation where if you've got $200 to spend as your entertainment dollar, would you rather spend it on a season ticket to your local soccer team or go see Barcelona or Real Madrid play in a game that actually means something?
Yeah, now we're not talking, that's not a summer friendly anymore. Now it's a meaningful game with meaningful players. There are some people that will prefer to go watch their local MLS team, and that's great. Mm-hmm. There are some people that are not, and so that's a little worrisome as well because we don't want MLS to fail, right?
Yeah, and if they play the Barcelona-Villarreal game and it's a huge success, how long before they want to play the Clasico?
Yeah.
Barca, Real Madrid
Liga
over
MX,
here.
Club America Chivas in L.A.
Right, or the Milan Derby.
In New York.
Merseyside Derby?
No, they're not coming.
You don't think?
EPL's not coming. They don't need to. That's the one league. Right. Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, if all these other leagues are making...
When the Saudis buy the EPL and then dictate you will play some games here, that it'll happen, right? You laugh.
No,
you laugh.
It's probably a thing. Yeah, it's probably a thing. All right, very good. Well, that does it for another episode of America's favorite soccer segment. And for the Ticker Soccer Show, a kick around. Andy, this was a fun one today. It's the start of a new season.
High five.
High five. I hope you're looking forward to winning the league again. Back to back.
I hope you're looking forward to top 4.
Thanks to Michael Dixon for doing tickers today. Thanks to EA for producing. And thank you to sweet Trammell for running the board. All right, we'll talk to you next week, P1s. We love and adore you. Go on out there, get stuck in, and win your 50s.